Hello, English 2 students. Welcome to week 7 of English 2. As you know, we couldn't meet in person today, but I did not want us to get behind. So I wanted to send you this little video just so that you can keep working at home and stay on track and we won't get behind. So before we get started, you're going to need your word roots lessons 13 and 14. And you're also going to need your easy grammar book and a writing utensil. So if you don't have those things in front of you, pause the video, go grab them, and come right back, okay? We're going to try to move somewhat quickly, but I don't want to go too quick that I lose you. So we're going to start with our word roots, and we're going to begin with lesson 13, okay? So we've got our prefixes. The only new prefix we have this week is try, which means 3. Or actually, I guess by is probably a new one for us too, and it means 2. So by means 2, try means 3. You can, if you have trouble remembering that, think of a bicycle has 2 wheels, a tricycle has 3. Okay. Our roots, we have 2 roots for lesson 13. The first one is lingu, which means language or tongue. And not necessarily, it can refer to the actual physical tongue, but usually it's talking more about a tongue referring to speech or to language, okay? And then the other root is turb, T-U-R-B, which means to agitate, okay? And it doesn't look like we have any new suffixes. These are all ones we've used before, so you can review those. I'm going to read you the words in the box just so you can hear how they're supposed to be pronounced in case there's an unfamiliar or new word to you, okay? So starting at the top, disturb, going across, perturb, trilingual, disturbance, linguist, lingual, turbulence, turbulent, bilingual, and linguistics. Okay, so now let's go down and define those words for you. Okay, so the first one, linguistics is the science of language. Number 1, linguistics. Okay, number 2, trilingual, having or expressed in 3 languages. Okay. Number 2, trilingual. Number 3, a linguist is one who specializes in languages. So number 3 is linguist. Okay, number 4, bilingual, involving the use of 2 languages. Okay, so number 4 is bilingual. And number 4, lingual means of or relating to the tongue. Okay, so number 5 is lingual. Number 6, disturb means to bother or interrupt. So number 6 is disturb. Number 7, perturb means to worry or to upset. So number 7 is perturb. Number 8, turbulence means confusion, excited activity. It can also mean wind currents that move very quickly. Turbulence. Number 9, a disturbance is an interruption, disorder, or turmoil. So number 9 is disturbance. Number 10, turbulent means stormy or disorderly. So number 10 is turbulent. All right, so you're going to use those to complete your sentences for this week for lesson 13. Moving on to lesson 14. Okay, again, our new prefix peri. I don't think we've had that one yet, which means around or surrounding. Okay, peri. Our roots, we actually have 4 roots for this lesson. The first one is meter, which means to measure. The second one is ped, and it can take 3 different forms as noted there. Ped means foot. Veloc or veloci means swift. Thermo means heat, therm or thermo. Okay. And then our suffixes. I think the only new one we have there is DLER, and that means one, who, or that which. All right, so let me read through the words again in case there are unfamiliar words to you. The first word starting at the top, velocity, going across pedal, pedometer, perimeter, peddler, velocipede, thermometer, impede, velocimeter, and expedite. All right, so let's go down and take a look at our definitions for these words. All right, so the first one, number one, a pedal is a lever operated by the foot. Think about the pedal on your bicycle, okay? Number two, velocipede. Any various early tricycles or bicycles or tricycles. Okay, those were called velocipedes. Okay, number three, expedite means to hurry, to speed up the process. So number three is expedite. Number four, velocity is speed or swiftness. So number four is velocity. Number five, a velocimeter is an instrument that measures speed. So number five is velocimeter. Number six, a peddler is a traveling salesperson. So number six is peddler. And number seven, a pedometer is an instrument that measures the distance a person travels by walking. So seven is pedometer. Number eight, a thermometer is an instrument that measures temperature. So number eight is thermometer. Okay, number nine, the perimeter is the circumference or the distance around a figure. So think about in math when you're asked to find the perimeter of a shape, you find the distance around the outside of the shape, around all four sides or however many sides it has. That's the, perimeter. Number 10, impede means to slow the movement or progress of. Okay, so number 10 is impede. Okay, so now you have all of your definitions for the week. You're going to, again, use those to complete your week 14 or lesson 14 activities. Now, you will notice after your normal activities of the week, you have a study guide. So it says at the top, English 2 root word study guide number 2. Okay, and it has 4 roots, or I'm sorry, not 4. That would be nice. It has 13 roots for you to define. And then it also has 13 roots for you to write a derivative. Okay, so you can go back and use your notes to complete that activity. It would be good for you to maybe try to do it without your notes first. And then the ones that you get stuck on, go back and use your notes, because you're going to use this to help you study for your quiz, because we are going to have our quiz next week. Okay, it'll be just like last time. You'll have matching for the root and the definition, and then you'll have blanks to fill in your derivatives, okay? So pretty straightforward. Again, only 13 roots, so it shouldn't take us too terribly long. Use your notes to study, or your study guide to study, and you'll be fine. For our easy grammar, there were several things I wanted to go over that were very common mistakes in last week's homework. But I want to be in person because I want you guys to be able to actually see your homework while I'm talking about it. And I have all your homework, so that's not going to work. But I'm going to go over a few things for your lessons this week. This week you should be completing days 31 through 35. And let's just go over a couple of things. So go ahead and turn to lesson 30 or day 31. And you will notice capitalization, capitalize brand names, but not the product. So Bebop cookies. Bebop is the brand name, capitalize that, but not cookies. Place a comma after the speaker and verb at the beginning of a sentence. So the example, Pedro said, comma, look at the chart. Same thing if it happens at the end. Look at the chart, comma, said Pedro. Okay. The one I wanted to talk about, though, in this page, or two on this page specifically, are verbs. Okay, so they're parts of speech verbs. The active voice indicates that someone or something is actively engaged in doing something. So active means you're actively engaged. So Tessa made a bridal gown. The passive voice means that someone or something is being acted upon. A bridal gown was made by Tessa. So the example they give you is brownies for a picnic were baked by Cole. They want you to write that. That's written in a passive voice. They want you to write that in an active voice. So we're going to say Cole baked brownies for a picnic. That would be one way you could turn that into the active voice, okay? For phrases, a participle phrase can be placed at the beginning of a sentence. It often serves as an adjective that describes the subject of the sentence. So the example, topped with whipped cream, the sundae was delicious. Okay, so topped with whipped cream is describing the sundae, so it's acting as an adjective phrase. Okay, so you're going to circle, or you can underline, I don't care, the participle phrase that's listed here at number 4, and then I want you to draw an arrow to what it's actually modifying. What's it talking about? So kept in a safe, her jewelry had not been stolen during the burglary. What's the participle phrase, and what's it talking about? Okay. Be careful when you are doing your sentence combining. I notice some of you are having trouble because you're not necessarily, maybe not understanding all of what the sentence is talking about, and you're just trying to get all the information in there. So make sure, read the sentences that you're supposed to combine, and then maybe talk through what it's trying to communicate, and that might help you determine how to better rearrange those sentences, okay? We'll talk about that more next week, though. That was one of the ones I wanted to talk about. On day 32, pretty straightforward. I think you all can just read through those directions and do those. Nothing too out of the ordinary. On day 33, again, the capitalization punctuation, pretty straightforward. The one I wanted to look at was difficult words. We've talked about these last week, there, and there, the homophones. But I like the description they give you to help you remember which one to use. So pay attention to that. And then same thing with its and its, okay? Pay attention to those really carefully to help you remember which one is the correct one to use. Then on day 34, you have pretty basic capitalization. Punctuation is using a hyphen. Those don't get used too often, but they give you a couple examples of when they are used. And then again, some more difficult words. They included your and your this time. So pay attention to which one's supposed to be used when. And then pronouns. Remember the rule we talked about last time. When you are talking about two things, so the example, Shonda and she or her agree to finish at once. Take off the first part, take off Shonda and decide which pronoun works best, and that's the one you use. So in this case, you would say, she agreed to finish at once. You wouldn't say her agreed to finish at once. So since she works by itself, that's the one you're going to use with Shonda and she agreed to finish at once. Okay. Then day 35, capitalization, pretty straightforward. Punctuation, again, pretty straightforward. Parts of speech, it's prepositions. So you're looking for the prepositional phrases to get rid of and then find your subject and verb. Phrases. A participle phrase may be placed within a sentence. So it can be put anywhere. It can be at the beginning, the middle, or the end. So you're going to be looking for the participle phrase again and drawing an arrow to what it's modifying, okay? All right, so it's pretty straightforward this week in Easy Grammar. Like I said, we'll spend some time next week reviewing. We'll talk about the difference between regular and irregular verbs. That seemed to give people a little bit of trouble. And then also work a little bit more on the sentence combining and phrases versus, what was the other one? There was one more that we were going to talk about. Let me look at my notes really quickly. Sorry. Yes, phrases versus clauses. That was the other one. Okay. So go ahead and do your homework for lesson 13-14, your easy grammar, and study for your quiz. And I will see you all next week. Have a great week.